as far as people who are, intense believers in Christianity, I know one of them is friend of the show, Charles Kirk, um, and we actually have a clip of him also expressing some thoughts about religion.
And it's important to note that Haiti is legitimately infested with demonic voodoo. Can you talk about this, Blake?
Yeah,
yes.
I'm like weirdly more sympathetic to Haiti.
In the Western Hemisphere.
Say that again, Jack.
Well, so voodoo, it's really where Haiti is, where voodoo comes from in the Western Hemisphere. So it's brought from a lot of much more ancient tribal African practices that were brought along, forcefully brought to the Caribbean. But it really was Haiti where voodoo made itself, planted its flag in the Western world, in the Western Hemisphere. You see this spread throughout the other islands. You see, these types of practices and a lot of blending of West African traditions with Christianity and Catholicism. Again, Spanish, French empires, you get Catholicism there. And they come up with these very bizarre, very dark, demonic, occult practices that are going on, in many cases completely subverting Christianity and Christian symbols for use in these practices. And so you'll have cases where the killing and the ritual killing and the ritual ingestion of flesh, or just say it, ingestion of flesh, is done as part of these rituals. In fact, during the slave revolt, or one of the early revolts going on back in 1804, one of the leaders of this was himself a shaman of sorts, a witchcraft shaman of sorts, and they were sacrificed animals, pass around the cup of blood for everyone to take part in, to kind of give them the blood rage, and then they would go off and start killing all of the plantation owners.
I mean, what's crazy with voodoo is it's very much it's a belief with where the supernatural has a lot of impact on your life. So they very much believe in the power of magic, that you can put curses on people, that you can cast spells on people. And, and the famous voodoo doll is just sort of a fictional trope version of this. I don't know if they specifically do it that way, but the general idea that someone can put a curse on you, and there's all sorts of people who have magic. So there's witches everywhere. So there's a voodoo idea that women can turn into these sort of animals and suck your blood at night, or there's another cult where people can turn into dogs, and of course zombies. The word zombie comes from voodoo.
So zombieism is really from this entire culture.
Yeah,
this is where it comes.
And in their version of it, it's more like they can kind of enslave a person, they can kind of kill you but control your body. And I believe, I don't have it in front of me, but I think there's cases where the power of suggestion is so strong that people have basically become zombies because they believe that they are a zombie, and it's so powerful on it. But the big picture here, of course, is there's all this trouble in Haiti yet again. If you're 30 years old, this is probably about the 8th or 9th time there's been some massive crisis in Haiti, and the government's a mess, and there's gangs in the streets, and they're doing all of this stuff, and there's never any progress. And it circles back around to a discussion we've had on here before. What if the big picture thought crime here is, should somebody colonize Haiti, basically?
No. Why would you want that?
There's really no reason to do it. I think the only reason to do it is
colonize Greenland.
That would be a great idea.
Okay,
I'm fully in favor of that.
Tons of land.
All for it.
Okay,
uninhabited largely.
Literally,
you have Nook.
What if you said, China can colonize Haiti?
I think it would be terrific.
Interesting. Some interesting ideas there on the Chuck Kirk program.
Yeah. Elsewhere in the program, he says that he's talked to missionaries who've been to Haiti. I'm not really sure why, because I think it's 80 or 90% Christian, but whatever. And they've told him about people with the demonic voodoo powers levitating, or he said turning into cats. But that I want to be fair about this. that was the one point where Charlie expressed a little bit of skepticism. He was like, well, I don't know cats.
I don't know about that. This is going a little too far.
Dogs are okay, but not cats.
Yeah.
Like, probably not, right? Like, okay, just gut check, it's like probably people aren't turning into cats. But yeah, it is kind of incredible. Like, I debated this guy in 2021.
That's right.
Less than 3 years ago. And he was just running through completely normal conservative talking points. And like now, Haiti's full of demonic voodoo powers and
Demonic cats.
Sure, yeah. And it would maybe be, I guess I want to be fair. The banner, if you're listening to this in the podcast, the banner at the bottom of the show, like the Charlie Kirk show said, "Re-Colonize Haiti?" ? So they were treating it, I guess, as an open question, but he did, he did say at the end it would be a fantastic idea if China wanted to.
Yeah, with Jack Pasebic, there too, is one of the talking heads. Because I don't think that's very clear in that clip.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, Ben, you're more historically literate than I am. If you didn't know much about the slave revolts, that's a pretty good place to start. What they were talking about, right? You pretty much got it now, right? Voodoo, cats, right? That's all you need to know, right?
Yeah,
we had Pascal on, and he did this great history of running down. I know, seriously, like everybody who's watching right now, whenever this episode's done, go back and find that episode where Pascal just goes through the history of what happened in Haiti, and it's phenomenal. You will learn a ton. I think I need to revisit it myself.
But I imagine he was just saying the exact same stuff as
word for word.
Yeah. Well, he went through the blood ceremony, and it's like, it's seconded. But also, like, this is actually like cartoonishly evil. That these guys in 2024 are resuscitating this like 200-year-old slave owner fear mongering about the Haitian Revolution. That like, this is, if you go back and listen to that episode that Andy was bringing up, or you listen to, like, if you want like a longer version, Mike Duncan had a really good podcast called Revolutions. They did a whole season about Haiti. I'd strongly recommend that. But like, honestly, this is like one of the most evil systems that's ever existed anywhere in the world. Like when the French colony of Saint-Domingue, that became Haiti, they had like the lifespan for like slaves who were imported to Haiti was like a few years, because tropical diseases and how dangerous the sugarcane harvesting was and the way they were doing it at the time. And yeah, it's very I really think you can have a magic free explanation of why people would revolt against this system given half a chance. And the other thing that's like really cartoonishly evil about what Charlie and the gang are doing in that clip is that little implication that it's like, oh yeah, Haiti's all fucked up again, this is the zillionth time, and like the implication is that it's because of all of the demonic voodoo turning into cats and stuff. Like,
right.
It's like, guys, like, if you actually, again, go back and get the short version from Pascal, you can listen to the Mike Duncan season. I know there's
there's that book. What's the book I'm thinking of? Is it Black Jacobins? I read it a million years ago. Yeah,
CLR James, Black Jacobins, right? They like it really is just unbelievable history that they like, and you look at the history of Haiti's relationships with the rest of the world, and like the US initially didn't recognize it for a long time because of fear that it would give slaves ideas in the American South. The like after their war, of independence, fight off Napoleon's attempt to retake it. Like eventually they agreed for the sake of like peace with France to pay an indemnity. So essentially they had to, it was, reparations in the opposite direction, that the descendants of slaves had to pay their former colonizers and slave owners for the lost property in the French Revolution. And if this all sounds like ancient history, this goes well into the 20th century. They were still paying off this indemnity. Even when the U.S. invaded and occupied Haiti in 1915, they didn't just forgive the debt; it was just transferred to an American bank. So, any guesses, by the way, when this was finally paid off?
1994.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not as bad as that, but yeah, 1947, right? So, this is. So yeah, they were paying this off, and it took a major share of the Haitian GDP until 1947. And then like there's a whole 10 years of respite between then and the installation of Papa Doc Duvalier as the dictator in Haiti with, enthusiastic US backing for usual Cold War anti-communist reasons. Then it's Baby Doc wasn't overthrown until 1986, and this is just this absolutely unbelievably ghoulish and awful kind of death squad right-wing regime. And then 5 years, like, all right, so the uprising against Baby Doc is 1986. There's after that, they finally hold like a democratic election, right? First elected president, Jean-Bertrand Aristide, who I believe I remember hearing once that one of his slogans when he first ran for president is who's going to raise the Haitian people from misery to poverty. And that's a fire-breathing populist platform in Haiti. And he was overthrown in 1991, and there are questions about that. It is, I think, a matter of public record that there are officers who were involved in the coup who had, certainly at least had a history of, being on the CIA payroll as like contacts or informants. It's unclear, how much American involvement there was in there, but like, Clinton actually brought him back, but then Aristide is overthrown a second time in 2004. By George W. Bush, who literally like had U.S. Marines escort him out of the country, and then claim he'd left voluntarily, and that's not what he said. And then you have 2017, which is when foreign troops finally leave the island, and in as recently as 2021, there are Miami-based people who assassinated Moise, the previous president of Haiti.
Oh yeah.
And it's, again, there are questions there about how much direct U.S. involvement there is, but like it looks pretty bad. So it's just like, yeah, most recent installment of the story again is 2021, right? So it's like, Haiti, all these problems. It's probably the culture. Right,
Yeah,
that must be
just turned into cats more. Then we wouldn't have had all these overthrows.
all right. I thought they did turn into cats less. So all right.
Okay. I don't know. Maybe I'm just pro cat.
God,
More
well,
of them turned into cats.
this is really upsetting because as a fan of what's their show called, The Thought Crimes, it is disappointing that they would leave out historical context. This is. I mean, now I got to rethink my fandom of their program.
Yeah, no,
They skipped some of that.
Yes. Yeah, I think they skipped all of that except there was a slave revolt, which I think they were blaming on demonic voodoo.
Yeah, drinking blood.
It would be awesome if they got Pascal on. Could you imagine? That would be fun. That would be a fun episode.
That
Not
would
for
be.
Pascal.
Yeah.
No, I think extremely annoying for him, but yeah,
Oh,
it'd be
yeah.
fun for everybody else to watch. Yeah, no, it's yeah, you sit down to watch, Charlie and the boys have a reasonable discussion with the Recolonized Haiti banner at the bottom of the screen, and then it turns out that like it's actually like inaccurate, like, or that there's like serious omissions in the historical record.
I can't believe it, and I'm pretty I'm not mad at them, but I'm disappointed. That's for sure. I mean, but I will say, and no offense to them, it's a little bit hard to take them seriously because they both look like retired child actors, Charlie Kirk and that other guy. So it's a little hard to be mad at them.
Hey
It's hard
guys,
to take them seriously. Hey,
for the podcast listeners, I just popped into the screen. I just got here, but I figured the Haiti knower of history has logged on because I thought I'd bolster up. We could screen. We could share a little more to see if they had something.
Okay, no, this might be unfair.
Yeah.
Right. We might be prejudging the discussion. It's going to get it's probably going to get like way less insane in the next couple of minutes.
Give him a chance, man. You're so quick to judge. Yeah.
I want to mention, I feel like there's a little bit of a tension or wobble between Kirk and you're saying like the John Cryer looking guy on the right as the other failed child actor looking guy. But he's a little bit more, I think he's a little bit more rationalist and secular because he doesn't really seem to believe in the voodoo. Whereas I think, because it's Charlie's like, they're so backwards. They have voodoo, which I believe is a real thing, I think. Yes. And then the other guy's kind of more like, like there's been cases in which, the power of suggestion is so strong.
No, I'm pretty sure nobody else in the panel thinks it's the power of suggestion. I believe they think it's the power of Satan.
Yeah. Let's see.
First of all, I think part of the country is literally under a spiritual oppression. I talked to missionaries and missionaries that have gone there, and they say they've seen the darkest stuff that a human being can see. In fact, I know people that went to Haiti passively as like agnostic atheists, and they came back searching for Jesus because they saw like legit demonic activity.
Whoa! Do they say any more?
Yeah, there was one guy who saw somebody who literally didn't sleep for 2 weeks, and would just literally run around and not sleep for 2 weeks. Like ran through the whole island.
Case closed.
I know that if I saw someone that didn't sleep for a long time, I would immediately,
satanic.
I would immediately become Christian. I would call up the first like, hey, I just saw someone who didn't sleep for two. I mean, I think he had to make.
That's kind of a weak one, honestly. It's like they have, it's like I don't know. I mean, yes, if you'd ask me, like, is it physically possible to stay up for 2 weeks? I'd say probably not. But like, if you told me, like,
depends on how much cocaine you got, really.
There was a guy. Were you watching him for every minute of those 2
Yeah,
weeks?
exactly. I think that guy might have been sneaking some naps in. I think he might have been. I think it might have been a trick.
A commenter said, Luke says, I was there for 2 weeks and it was so hot I probably didn't sleep at all. All right, well then that's a reasonable explanation.
That's okay.
But
wasn't okay.
Yeah, but he saw someone not. Yeah, I think he had to make up something really fast, and his improv skills failed him. It's like I saw someone jump 5 feet in the air and bleeding from their hand.
Natural type capacity. There are claims that people have seen like quasi levitation stuff.
There we go.
Almost head spinning type stuff.
Pause.
He's prefacing it. He's qualifying a little bit. Quasi levitation. Is that like there was 1 foot still down? Like
they got stoned and watched The Exorcist is what happened.
Yeah.
Or it's like
because it's quasi levitation. It's almost head spinning stuff. It's like he really, like Charlie really, like he wants to push this, but he doesn't seem to be willing to fully commit to it.
Yeah, he was kind of. Was he distracted? Was there another tab open while he? I don't. Yeah, come on, Charlie. Let's focus. Here.
Yeah, the other guy really wanted. If we look at his face, he looks a little disappointed because he was like, "Oh, can you?" He was like, "Can you?" Like they clearly didn't have a meeting before because he was like, "Oh, that's really surprising. Can you elaborate?" And Charlie's like, "Fuck." I saw a guy jump rope four rotations before he hit the ground. Yeah, let's see if he has anything better.
Here's one that when Andrew was in Haiti, there were common stories about people turning into cats at night, which I don't know. They all knew someone that turned into cats. Again, I'm not sure about that. I haven't heard that. But
where's the certainty,
supernatural
Charlie?
energy, or just also the stuff where, you know, you look in the Hollywood films where someone like looks possessed, right? Imagine like entire towns that look that way.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Where it's just
Imagine if you went to like a particularly rough section of the United States where everybody's addicted to drugs or something like that. I'm sure. I mean, again, they would probably actually say the same thing, about like the inner cities or whatever. But it's just, I don't know. It's like he's like, imagine somebody that just like looks like they're really strung out. Wow, that's like clearly demonic activity. But I am preempting it by saying that they would probably say the same thing if they saw, if they went somewhere where like people were like addicted to fentanyl or something like that.
Charlie does seem like he's losing the guys a little bit on this. They do seem pretty disappointed in Charlie Kirk's thing here. He's like, imagine if you saw like in the Hollywood films. They're like, what the hell is this guy talking about? We work for this guy.
I can imagine. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
But it's also like, I think he is losing them a little bit, like, because the woes seem pretty half-hearted. It's like, oh wow, yeah.
Wow, Charlie. Okay.
Wow. I imagine like RM.
But also, they're not willing to like actually like interrogate him the way I really want here, which is like, wait. Let's just slam the brakes on quasi-levitation. What is quasi-levitating? Like, are you actually levitating, but just a little bit? Like, are you like up on one foot, but your balance is better than it should be? Like break down what's quasi levitation.
Yeah, I was imagining like RM
Quasimodo is floating.
Or like, what do you guys went to like a conservative like after party after some convention? You're like, I saw the craziest shit, and then live on air, I'm like, what? And then you guys just can't produce anything. You're like, I saw somebody snorting coke, and I just have to be like, whoa.
There was a basketball court out back, and a guy hit 3 3-pointers in a row.
Which is statistically
it's statistically basically impossible, and I'm convinced it was demonic. And I was pretty shaken, to say the least. We're checking to make sure our Turning Point USA checks are clearing on our laptops while he's talking about this.
Wow. All right, let's see if
they and then there's a lot of churches there too, and it's growing. But like Haitian voodoo culture is legit. Like 1 out of 3 people in Haiti participate, and they sacrifice animals, and they do like pagan blood rituals. So yeah,
it doesn't seem to have worked out for them.
No, I mean, look, show me a pagan culture that sustainably can survive. And
okay, pause.
There's a reason why the Aztecs are no longer around.
All right. I want to break this down. That it's the pagan cultures can't sustainably survive. I mean, it's like, I don't know, man. It seems like, I mean, does pagan here just mean non-Christian, or like, is there a more specific sense that he has in mind?
See, it seems like almost anything. Yeah. Non-Christian. He just mentioned India, so I'm guessing like what they would consider.
Okay, well that seems like a very long surviving culture. So now
that was the one he was like, that was the one counter example, which I guess we'll see. But yeah, I mean this is for Jeb says, I don't think religion caused the fall of the Aztec Empire. I think recolonized the Aztecs. I think there's another reason. Yeah.
I want to re-decolonize the Aztecs, make Mexico City Tenochtitlan again.
Oh hell yeah!
Make it, restore the greatness of it with the pyramids and everything. But yeah,
Drunk Dalek says, yeah, this is just dumb repeating of shit that Pat Robertson said on air for decades, which maybe is why it's like half remembered. He's like remembering things he heard like at his childhood.
Yeah, I think I've heard about like quasi levitation, like I don't remember whether there's full levitation, but like they were like,
I think somebody turned into a cat, but I'm not Sure.
It was either Pat Robertson or Manimal he was watching.
Yeah, but like, yeah, why would it be like what's the connection supposed to be about the Aztecs and paganism? That like, if not for the paganism, they would have done a better job of fighting off the conquistadors. Like they would have just like had better technology if they worshipped Jesus.
That's a much better argument than I think they're making. I think it's a lot stronger. You're steel manning it a little too much, I think. But yeah, that's the best. No, that I think they're just like, well, it doesn't exist anymore, you know.
Yeah, I mean, okay. I'd like the, I don't know. I mean, it's the, Byzantines don't exist anymore, right? The were, Ottomans conquered Constantinople. It's like like they were Christians. I don't understand.
Should we see what they say about India, which has been around for a pretty long time, and just I think just became the most populous country. Let's see what they say about it.
Okay.
Well, that's a good point. Can India survive? We'll see. Or is India just on its? Is it exhausting the jet fuel of English colonial culture?
Yeah, exactly.
That's a thought crime.
I'm just asking. Right? Was India great before it got colonized?
Yeah, but they have a caste system.
They have a terrible caste system.
I mean, but their caste system is what keeps them afloat.
What's crazy is what is at risk of destroying India.
It seems like there's differing thoughts on the caste system.
Yeah. To debate that one out, guys.
Yeah. I want to hear this debate.
Yeah.
So sorry. So take me through who, Charlie, I obviously know. Who's the rest of the panel here?
Then there's MAGA John Cryer. No.
Yeah.
Jack Pasebic's the guy at the other end.
Yeah, and then Hat Man, who God only knows who that guy is.
Okay, because Hat Man is the caste system fan.
Yes. He's pro-caste.
Yeah.
Pro-caste.
Yeah, because Charlie's initial impulse when the caste system is brought up to be like, oh, we're dunking on the bad pagan cultures, right? So
yeah.
So clearly oh yeah, the caste system, that's very bad. But Hat Man's, Hat Man, this is the one part he likes.
Yeah, he's caste curious. Yeah.
Yeah, because they're so clearly obsessed with hierarchies that obviously.
Yeah, why would they not all like the caste system? It's kind of I want to hear them go into this.
But yeah, I'm sure they're going to unpack it. But it does. Someone said it kind of sounds like stoned college freshmen, which is thrown out as an insult, maybe too much. But it does kind of remind me of kind of like budding college freshman racists who are stoned, and then they're not quite. Charlie's not quite sure how racist the group is. You know what I mean? So he's like, and they're like, fucking racist, which is bad, right? And you're like, but what if it was kind of good? Yeah. It's a thought crime. It's a thought crime.
Yeah, is they got one of the most toxic intellectual imports from the West, which is affirmative action, and they do it by caste, and it's a colossal disaster. They're one of the only countries that does affirmative action that is as stupid and bizarre as the way we do it in America, where if you're in one of the four kind of normal castes, you're discriminated against systemically, and instead it's the tribes and other backward castes, I think is what they call them.
Yeah, but that's the best management for the lifestyle of what you guys are talking about, where it's essentially a free-for-all society that exists, which is, that's why it's basically plugging the dam on that allows that to exist.
I
So
think
I want to go back to how they're running on the fumes of British colonialism. What's the idea here? That the British were that the British gave them a century and change of Christian values, and that's
that's exactly it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
it's the same.
They've got just enough of residual Christianity from Britain that the paganism hasn't destroyed them yet.
Yeah, they were basically doing the same thing with Haiti. They're saying the same thing. I think the subtext is the same. Yeah.
But what confuses me about their argument is that the British system is known for having a rigid class system, and which is not that different in some respects to the caste system. So
Well, they're having a spirited debate. Hat Guy is making really, really strong points about a free-for-all society, which I'm sure if we asked Hat Man to define, he would have a really good description of what a free. He's basically just saying that like anything goes there, so they need structure. So even though it's a bad structure, it's a good structure. But the other guy, MAGA John Cryer, was trying to critique their caste system. So they're going in a few different directions. It's getting fascinating.
I think MAGA John Cryer is the one who is most dedicated to just keeping the conversation at a normie conservative level. You know, like remember he was the he was the power of suggestion guy, right? So that was like the most clear dissenting vote on like magic is real, and he was like, okay, we're talking about caste stuff. Like he's not going to endorse the caste system like Hat Guy. So he's like, all right, wait, how can I like squeeze just like a normal mediocre conservative point out of this? Like, oh yeah, you know, they're trying to do affirmative action now to undo the caste stuff, and that's bad. You know, we all hate affirmative action, right, guys? And yeah, no, sorry, we're way over that. Now we're talking about turning into cats and how the caste system is actually good.
If I had like 100 intelligent points to award to this group, and it's a finite number, I might give that guy like 80 to be if I had to, and then give the rest assign the rest based on the 20 points left. Not saying he's a genius, but I think he's actually operating on a different level where he's trying to make their crazy points into something more normal and thought out, and he's not really doing a good job. I am curious how he's going to respond to Hatman. I know that we're probably gonna we can't watch too much more, but this debate is just heating up.
It's intense.
I have a heart for the people of Haiti, and I visited the Caribbean.
Oh, he just stopped it. Oh boy! All right, that's disappointing.
Fair amount. You don't have to live like that. I mean, there are islands that enter the second world, and they're not totally anarchy, and they're poor, but you know they have like resorts, and you know Barbados, for example, Turks and Caicos,
Dominican Republic,
Grand Cayman.
Dominican Republic is a lot like Haiti, same island, and it is
Santo Domingo.
Literally, I think more than 15 times richer than Haiti. Now, I do want to push back on one thing, which is Andrew and others are pointing out, you know, they revolted too early, and I will say, what we really need to blame here, and it's important to give the right blame to these people because they're to blame for a lot of things, is the French. French are bad. They're the ones
the French and the Germans
they gave
are perfectly
us
fine antagonists in all things.
Yes, exactly. And you know, they gave us all this adultery stuff that's causing all the problems allegedly maybe in the royal family. And they gave us Haiti. And the reason I say they gave us Haiti is Haiti, as far as you know, we get all of our horror porn about slavery in the US before the Civil War, you know, that 12 years of slave stuff, you know, whipping people. Like Haiti, run by the French, was not like the antebellum South. Haiti was run like a Nazi death camp. It was sugar plantations. And sugar plantations in the 1700s were so terrible that...
So it sounds like Haiti actually really underwent a lot of really, really terrible shit, and the only way I can get my crew on board is to say, oh, it's because it's the French who did it and we hate the French.
Right. Yeah, he is doing a real roundabout here. Those decadent French.
He's like really trying to think. It's like, okay, I don't want to end this segment on a note of us all agreeing that slavery in Haiti was fine. Colonization, enslavement of Haiti, is totally okay. So it's like I want to get through to these guys, but it's like, look, he's a very talented communicator. You have to know your audience, and think about how you're going to be able to connect to them and where their starting point is. Like, okay, what can we do? What can we do?
Mm-hmm.
We all hate French people.
Because the reason we don't like them is because they have affairs with the British monarchy. Which is, it's very upsetting. But
yeah, no, those French people with their cheeses and adultery and existentialism and snooty accents, right? Like this is like we can all get on board with that, right? It's the goddamn frogs. And look, I'm not like some ridiculous radical leftist who's going to say that like slavery in the American South was bad. Like I'm that would be extreme, right? But I'm going to chart the moderate course here and say like what the French did, that was pretty bad.
You could not have replacement level population. It was constant decrease.
Jeez.
So what you do is you'd constantly ship in slaves from Africa. It was estimated that a field hand in a Haitian sugar plantation had a life expectancy of about 4 years, like from when they start working in there. And so that is why they revolted and killed everybody. It wasn't merely, we want to be free. It was straight up, if we don't do this, odds are all of us will be dead in 5 years because of how horrifying this is. And so I do want to give that concession that Haiti is super messed up, but much of this is downstream of when you have a catastrophically horrible way of running your country, such as anything set up by the French. These are the end results you get, and we still feel the ramifications 200 years later. And so we can even draw the comparison there between Haiti and Britain, where Britain has an orderly emancipation process for its colonies and the slaves in those colonies. And the result is that anything that's still a British colony today is pretty good. Any place that was a British colony is doing a lot better than anywhere that was a French colony. What are the French colonies? Niger, other parts of West Africa, Ivory Coast, torn by civil war frequently, Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia. And then it's like British colonies, Hong Kong,
India,
Barbados, Gibraltar.
Barbados is amazing. George Washington went down to Barbados.
He did.
That's your fun fact of the day.
And that's also where
Amazing
Alexander
point
Hamilton
by
was
Charlie
from, right?
there.
It might have been Hamilton. One of them went all the way down to Barbados.
Well,
at
Hamilton,
some
I
point.
believe, was born there, and then he moved.
Oh man, this guy is just running knowledge circles around Charlie Kirk because I think he said, "Oh, I think Alexander Hamilton also went to Barbados," and then Charlie Kirk, if anybody missed it, just said, "Oh, it might have been Hamilton." He's like, "Oh, sorry, actually that might have been Hamilton," and then now he's saying Hamilton was born there, and he, this guy, he seems like one of those libertarians that actually reads a lot of stuff, and then
see, it sounds like he's trying to get on record saying that you know what I mean, like that the slave system in Haiti was bad, but and then he has to qualify it a bunch.
Like he has in that room, right? It's like you have to like really build up to slavery was bad, right? Right. Like, so he was easing into it, right? It's French are very bad, whatever. But he doesn't want to like this is a guy who has just about enough of a shred of whatever it is left that he's like, I don't really want to do a whole hour of just pure racism.
Right.
I want to put a little note of moderation in there that it's for the record, I guess slavery wasn't the best.
Yeah. Charlie, I totally agree. Those cats are demonic, and we can all agree on that. However, the slave system, it's kind of bad, right, guys? Come on.
He was thinking about his next job application, and he was
exactly.
We will look into MAGA John Cryer. Maybe one day we'll even.
Actually, its name is Tyler Boyer.
What is his? Yeah. Okay. Yes, Ben.
Oh, I just want to say also that it's entirely possible that Charlie's thing about people turning into cats, that where he was remembering that from was a 1995 episode of The X-Files, Fresh Bones, which does in fact have a bunch of voodoo stuff in it. It includes somebody turning into a cat. So,
or maybe he was thinking of the musical Cats. He could have gotten mixed up with that, But I would love to see a man on the street thing with Charlie, where he goes to Haiti and he just has a microphone and he's just chasing cats around. That would be good. That would be a good thought crime segment.
I saw you walking around just 2 minutes ago, dude. Now you're a cat. How do you explain it? But Charlie,
explain yourself.
He's the guy's actually slavery was bad, and he's like, I have a fun Snapple fact for you that has nothing to do with that because I don't want to
And then he doesn't quite remember the Snapple fact.
Yeah.
Like,
All
yeah, I
right.
think Alexander Hamilton was he the one? He got that. Yeah, actually, I think he was born there, Charlie. You have been watching free public content from Give Them an Argument. To access every single episode of the show, the main show on Monday nights, all of the streams, all of the debate breakdowns, all of the patron-exclusive post-games on Monday nights, all of the patron-exclusive bonus episodes every week, and much, much more, go to patreon.com/Ben Burgis. I cannot resist ending this with, don't be foolish.